Hey guys, I was going to do a video on the MCE2 VGA hobby project that's been going around because it's an absolutely awesome tool and I recommend you get a slice of that pie. But unfortunately the machine that I pulled out to do a Hercules monochrome demonstration turned out to be a dud, so I've been spending the last week or so of my spare time actually getting that machine running again. Now there's going to be some little great clips in that video when it's finished, like this. And I'll go through the ROMs and all that sort of stuff, the process of how I fixed the machine. But in the meantime, I did want to get a video out, so I thought, hey, it'd be a good time to actually show you guys this workshop. So this workshop isn't some sort of high-end professional setup. I'm just a guy on a budget, and generally I'm very disorganized and messy, and this is my attempt to try and keep my machines more accessible and make it easier for me to do repairs or videos without it being less of an issue. Now, a while back, probably about 3 months ago now, my storage facility put up their prices. I was tired of it, so I decided to put in shelving so that I could keep all of these machines here with me. Now, I should add that all my nice machines are actually set up inside, so there's things like the IBM XT, the Tandy 1000, the PCJX. This is just where I keep my generic machines, spare parts, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm quite proud of it, because when I started this, this garage was bare. It was a concrete floor and tin bolted to the side. There was nothing else. There wasn't even electricity out here, and just in my spare time I've slowly built this up, so I just wanted to share it. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not the cleanest person, so you are probably going to see some scenes that don't look very good or are not YouTube friendly, but that's just the way it is. I tend to be a very passionate person. I'll get excited about a project and I will just work on it until it's 1 in the morning and I have to go to bed. Then the next day I get up and the last thing I want to do is clean. I want to work on something else. And yeah, it's very hard for me to stay organized, but I'm trying my best. So let's have a look at what's around. Alright, let's start with the messy stuff. So we've got these drawers here just with generic ISA cards. They're not my great cards, they're just cards that I use on a regular basis. It's not the best storage system, but it works effectively and nothing's been damaged. But what I started to do was actually move into using filing cabinets. These are quite nice. As long as you're not too rough, you can sort of safely put the cards in between here. And I've got a whole array. This particular drawer is for XT class machines, so lots of good parts in there. But once again, those aren't my best cards. My best cards are actually in boxes. So moving along, now here's the real mess. So all these little cubby holes with little useful things that I use. I want to get around to organizing this, but once again I just keep running out of time. Got a Core 2 Duo that's not actually in use, it's just parked here. Got a Rigol DS1054Z. That's not necessary for a vintage workshop, but it's really cool being able to actually see the signals. It can really help with diagnosis sometimes, so it's nice to have. Generic Chinese soldering station. That one's a Psych, I think that's how you pronounce it. And down here's got a little Duratec desoldering station. That actually works really well for the price, but I will say for the price. And this is the machine that I'm currently working on. This is usually where I actually work on my machines. There's a massive cabling mess down there, which was nicely organized, but it quickly comes apart. And this all feeds up into this KVM here, which goes to this monitor, and it's got a keyboard and mouse. It's an AT KVM, and underneath here I've got sort of my tweener PCs. So that's my classic tweener you've probably seen on other videos. That's a DX4100. This was a project that I started but never finished, and that was a Linux machine with basically 4 floppy drives, and I put a tape drive in there but I had no idea why. Pentium 3 450 dual CPU, there's another one there laying down. They work fine. This circuit board here, it looks haphazardly placed, but it's actually, I'm using it to scavenge 256 kilobit memory chips from, which is working out really well. It takes a while to desolder them though. It's 3 Wang PCs. This one down the end here works fine. These 2 are in parts. I am going to do a build video because I do have enough parts to build a second Wang PC, and I got all the installation discs too, so that's going to be really cool. There's my old video card from once upon a time. Alright, and there we have my modern PC, which I use for capturing. And the way the capture system works, in this case we've got the MCE2 VGA that then gets fed into a VGA splitter. Now the other cable here goes up to my KVM, so when you guys see capture of my tweener PC, that's where that's from. That goes into there. One of these monitor cables goes up to this LCD display. The other one comes over here, and buried in here is this, I think it's Langken or something, some weird VGA upscaler which converts it to HDMI. That then goes into an Elgato Game Capture HD, which then goes into this lovely PC right here, which is actually my wife's old computer. Moving along, got a CGA monitor and Hercules monochrome just for testing. Their cables just hang off the side here and they run off whatever computer I've got plugged into it. I'm not sure if that's got power or not. Oh, it does. Yep. It's got a fan in it, which is pretty cool. It's good to turn that on once in a while. Those are going to be moved because now that I have the MCE2 VGA, it's a tongue twister and a half. I'm just going to be using that from now on. So these are going to get shifted. I'm probably going to put my oscilloscope and desoldering gear there. Right, over here is another mess. But look, you can see my attempts at being organized. So these drawers are full of ICs, like 7.4 series ICs, CPUs, that sort of stuff. Maybe take one of these trays out. Those are 486DX250s, if I remember correctly. I've also got, that's got some bad goop on it, but there's a Pentium in there. Let's go for another one. There's an Intel Overdrive and a Pentium. It's nice stock. I actually saved them from a guy that was recycling them from gold. That's where those came from. And you see there's lots of ICs there. Because when you're repairing a computer, you don't really want to wait 3 weeks for the part to arrive. So I spent a chunk of change to stock up some components like capacitors and stuff. Storing cables up there. This is supposed to be the electronics workbench, but things have kind of gotten a bit messed up. You can see one of my old projects there. That's a compact portable motherboard that I was trying to diagnose. Yeah, floppy drives, CD-ROM drives, all on that shelf. Now, if I just move this container out of the way, I'll be able to open. You see what I mean about being messy. So this cabinet is, I ran out of space inside, so I built this cabinet in here for storing stuff that I sort of didn't want to be exposed to the elements quite so much. And you can barely see them, but there's 2 compact SLT286s down there that I need to do a video and a repair on. Yeah, lots of Toshiba 486 laptops, some original IBM books and software. It's an ST412 that I haven't tested yet. That'll be another video. Oh, there's one of those hubs that I talked about. Oh no, that one doesn't have the 10 base 2 uplink. Lame. Right, now in this corner where you can't see, these are my original boxes, like the IBM PS2 Model 30 and that Excel. I needed somewhere where I could keep them safe and dry, but at the same time not wasting space. So because that place is so inaccessible, it worked out perfectly. An old Pentium 4, just taking a quick look at these machines on this row here. So 486, 386 sort of stuff. Ericsson's first and only portable computer. I should do a video on that. Works a treat. You see that is that Unitron 286 from the old video. And this one was quite interesting, the Digital Venturis, because it looks like junk on the outside, but I opened it and there's no dust. So I think it's brand new. PS2 Model 3286, that's one of them. And just a generic PC General, compact Presario Pentium machine. I have the faceplate somewhere. It's a Q-Up Packard, whatever. It's a 486 that, believe it or not, actually works with SCSI hard drives. 486DX40. This one looks like it's in a state of disrepair. It's because I actually use it to recover some quarter-inch tape cartridges using NetBSD, so it's kind of been junked about, but I'll do a build on that one. Acorn A4000. It's a bit of a rare beast. That one needs a new power supply, which I actually have. And iTech, I think that's a Pentium in there, but these machines are the bleh machines. Okay, down the bottom there though, we have IPC's PCAT 286, the Magnum, is it a Mark II? Yeah, Magnum Mark II, check that out. That's a pretty cool system. I need to pull that out at some stage and give that a retest. A spare Concorde 286 case, it's got nothing in it at the moment. Random ST225 that I actually pulled out from inside this case. That happens sometimes. I've got a box down here, I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is a 486 from memory. What I love about this is the way this whole CD-ROM tray ejects. And you lift this up like this. Sorry for the crappy video, guys. I'll have to do a proper video on this at some stage, but I think that CD-ROM drive is really awesome. But that's just a generic PC clone. Commodore 386SX20, those machines are just complete junk, to be honest. Hewlett Packard Vectra and some P4s and yeah, spare cases. There's kind of the, sorry about that, it's just the junk end. Monitors, 10084S, IBM SVGA, there's another IBM monitor that's supposed to be there, but it's out. NEC Multisync, really recommend these if you can get one, these are awesome. Right, next aisle. Sorry, this is very hard for me to do because it's such a tight space in here.
Let's go sideways and have a look at some of these old XTs. This is a concept XT that needs to be built, so there'll be a video on that at some stage. This one's really interesting. This is my IBM 5170. Now if you notice it's got a third drive bay, it's because it's a clone case that I got where someone had stuck an IBM 5170 sticker on the front of it. So I went out and modified the case so it would accept an AT motherboard, and then modified the, took out the motherboard that was in it and threw in a genuine IBM 5170, and I managed to find a couple of YE data drives to match. So that's the best I could do to fake an IBM AT because I couldn't afford a real one down here. Generic 286 clone, 512k RAM. I need to build that up. I know it starts, but I haven't built it up. It's the Excel XT with dual hard drives that I built a while ago. It's a fantastic machine. Spare case for an XT. I think it has a motherboard in it, but it needs work. And another one of those. But this one's actually built, although the floppy drives have been taken out. It's got an SD412 in there though, but that does start, and that SD412 works great. Sorry, so much stuff down here. That is my old tweener PC. It's a 386SX. It arrived to me dead, and that's hilarious. I'll show you guys in a later video. And that's another Excel PC XT down the end there, which I'll get a video soon because it needs a rebuild, but it is a good working machine. So Goldstar XT, no floppy drive for some reason, but that worked fine, always has since I got it. 486 DX266 and DX4100 gaming PCs. PS2s, Model 50Z. I can't remember the model numbers of these, but you know, I'm sure they're just PS2s basically. Hewlett Packards. Got a 450 and a 38620N. Zooming out, that's a Cyclone PC by the looks. DEC that needs a CD-ROM drive. And moving up, this is the world's coolest 486 in my opinion. It's got dancing LED displays and everything. NEC PowerMate Plus. This is a machine that I need to repair. I have not been able to get anything out of the system yet. Oh, I know what this is. I love this one. Let's do a UE. This is a compact ProLinear 486 50 megahertz machine, and it is beautiful in white, and that hasn't been retro-brighted. So that's why it stays in its magic box. Just close that up. Wang 286. So, can't have a collection without a Wang 286. This one's a Tico 386. It's nothing too exciting. I've actually updated the notes here. It said some repair work. That's the PS2 Model 3286 that we repaired in the last video. 286 portable clone. Toshiba T5200/100. This one, oh, that's the Commodore. It's a 386 SX25. That one's been retro-brighted, but it needs retro-brighting again. Digital DEC 486. I haven't actually opened that one yet. I got that from the collector, still sealed. And the original IBM portable there. This stuff could be kind of interesting. These are IBM PC JXs in states of disrepair. Now I have one beautiful working system inside, and I'm hoping to combine these two to make another. And I have a spare screen that works for such an occasion. However, I need to find another keyboard, so I might end up importing a PCJR keyboard because I have a feeling that's going to work. Mac Classic that needs a motherboard wash. And another IBM monitor. Nothing too exciting. The front panel of one of the IBM JXs. Alright, down there you can just see how these are actually bolted down to a piece of wood and basically attached together. I've got some laptops hanging down here. The reason for this is I have to take into consideration quite bad earthquakes, and if you see how small that space is, if I'm in there and say there's something blocking my path, I really can't have these shelves falling on me, because you imagine the weight of all of those computers pulling. If that wasn't bolted down and there was a big quake and that came over, I would be certainly in a state of difficulty, to say the least. Okay, so moving over to the next set of shelves. This isn't a very big building, and this gap's even thinner. So the way I have this here, now all of these boxes are from the previous owner. Okay, so I got all this stuff already in these boxes. I can't take credit for it, but it's a beautiful way to organize all your gear. So I got things here like spare hard drives. I won't bore you with every single detail, but you can see the kind of things that are in these boxes. I have used a few parts from some of these. I think they're spare floppy drives. And the good thing about this stuff here is all of these parts will be working because the previous owner tested them all. I think things like SCSI, ISA cards, laptops. This whole box is just laptops, PC parts. Very thankful for like this contribution to the workshop. I can't really say much more. It's a bad way to start a video. I can't really open this box, but these are spare 286 and XT motherboards, and I pulled a broken one out of it to extract the chip earlier. Sorry, this video is not terribly good, guys. Just trying to do what I can in the time I have. This is basically the junk pile, although that G3 does actually work. I've got things here, like a couple of parallel printers that I'm pretty sure are poked. Old Pentium 4 from work, some form paper, and some HP. That's the junk. This is kind of cool. This in here is a RS-232 signal analyzer from Hewlett-Packard in its original case. Down here we've got a Beer Model 3286 chassis and another one right there. There's no power supplies or motherboards in these, they're just the chassis. Core 2 laptop that I got for $10. Original box for the 1084S. I can't remember what's actually inside that box, but I think there's something inside that box. Networking station, so we've got the Hewlett-Packard LaserJet, which is hooked up through Ethernet. A very big server that I haven't hooked up to anything. It's actually a Pentium, but it's not doing anything at the moment. It does start and it boots up into QNX, which is sort of like a Unix type operating system. Xeon based 1U server that I'm not using for anything, mainly because it sounds like a hurricane when it's running. There's the EtherTwist FileNet server, which is really awesome, but I can't do anything with, and that's my little file server for my vintage network. Let's see, I'm trying to find an angle where this is going to be acceptable to watch. Okay, so gateway, I was going to strip that for parts. Unfortunately, I powered it up and the thing still works, so it's getting a build. It's a Pentium 3 from memory. I'm just going to rebuild it as original, make it into a gaming box or something like that. Compact portable, this is a machine that I'm currently working on. Another machine, so a lot of these machines in this pile, just so you guys are wondering, this particular shelf is the, at some stage I have to make time and fix them pile. AT&T 3B2 this machine actually boots fine, but I've been unable to do a hard drive install on it. So it also blows the RCD breaker on my fuse box, so it needs some work in the power supply and more investigation. PC Direct 670AX, Cyclone 486. I haven't powered either of those systems up yet, and keeping going on with the haven't powered them up yet. There's a Super 5 486, I'm guessing. Compact Pro Linear 742, some random clone Intec. That looks like it'll be another 486. Down here, this one has an Intel Inside Pentium sticker, so I imagine that's going to be a Pentium. Total peripherals, probably a 386, I would guess, since there's no CD-ROM. Or it could be a 486. And PC Discovery 540, which is a system I'm very happy about getting in my collection because it's something I lusted after when I was a kid. Now, if you're wondering why I know nothing about any of these machines, it's because they only recently arrived and I've had so many other things that I haven't had a chance to get to them. I'm a little bit spoiled in that respect. Now, underneath that little cloth there, I've got more monitors, and I've got a couple of cheap VGA ones stacked there. Main thing here is the use of these little plastic containers. As you can see, they're all tiled down here, which contain various things, everything from Commodore 64s to spare hard drives. Taking a more look at some of these boxes, graphics cards, keyboards, IDE hard drives. I certainly have enough of those, and some spare motherboards. They're in varying states. Sometimes I open these boxes and I find the hardware is not quite what I thought it was. Spare ATX motherboards, spare Ethernet stuffs. Inside this box, although you can't tell from the outside, but it's actually a brand new digital VGA monitor. However, when I opened it and I started it, it's got a purple area that isn't caused by magnetization. So I think there's something wrong with the setup or the mask or something on it. It actually does have a factory fault. And since the guy I got it from used to work at Digital, part of me wonders whether they didn't return it because, I mean, it was their own product, so it could have just been a factory defect. Hewlett Packard monitor, VGA. I haven't looked at this one yet. I really should pull that out and make sure that it works. Another Gateway Pentium 3 that unfortunately still works, so I couldn't turn it into something else. These are kind of neat. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I just almost dropped all this stuff. SyQuest 200 meg cartridge drive. I'm going to do a video on those shortly. Sorry, I'm just reorganizing the stuff. My apologies for the video quality, guys. It's just the way it is. And behind that, there's some spare KVMs, because I was going to set up a lot of more of these machines. Apple LC doesn't work. It's another project. Epson Equity, with its panel missing. This actually works fine despite the panel missing. Commodore 128D, which is in pristine condition and works fantastic. Commodore PC40, which has been maintained and works fine. Commodore PC10 and Commodore Colt PC. Actually, it's the same machine as this really, but it's got a much better look to it. So I'll have to do a video on that at some stage. Not too sure. I mean, there's a abandoned Commodore monitor back there, and also you can't see it because I've hidden it, but there's a bit of abandoned gear under there as well. That's all stuff that needs to be repaired. There's a nice compact monitor there, Philips 486 Amstrad monitor, an original box. That works, but it needs new caps, and I don't have an Amstrad PC anyway, so not interested, but it's there in case I need it. Mercury RGB display, once again needs work. Sanyo MBC 1250. Yeah, this one's a real piece of work. The original owner, the previous owner to me, sorry, spent so much time replacing chips on this, and he wasn't able to get it to start. I chose to adopt it, but I haven't had any luck with it yet either. But that is on the project list. At the moment, it just turns on and displays snow. It's got 2 CPUs, tons of graphics memory. It's a really powerful machine, but yeah, for the time, I mean. So it's in 1983, I think, maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's on the to-do pile. It's a docking station and LaserJet 5P, which is just rubbish. I'd rather use my 4. So yeah, I don't know what else there is to show you. I mean, I've got tools and stuff, and I've got the green screen and my working bench. And as you can see, lots of stuff in here is messy, but I mean, this isn't a massive space, and I've managed to get in like 9 meters of shelving, and yeah, just trying to, it's just so much stuff. And I absolutely love the fact, so that made me sound ungrateful. I love the fact I have too much stuff, but sometimes it can be tricky showing you guys this stuff on video, because I always feel really bad, you know, because there's so much gear here, and I just wish sometimes I was more organized and together, but it's really hard for me to find time between, you know, work and daughter and all that sort of stuff. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that little look around my workshop. Let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah, I mean, it's not the world's greatest palace of vintage computers, but there's lots of cool stuff in here. I mean, as I mentioned probably earlier, is all my good machines are all set up permanently is like a display piece, so people can come in and use them. This video is just about my little workshop area. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to do about space and trying to reorganize things. I'm probably going to end up having to lose quite a few systems, because I think I have too many of certain systems. So it's really hard for me to pass one up, because it just, you always want more. It's a weird addiction. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll get this Concord video out to you soon. And then I'll cover that MCE to VGA project, which apparently just had a really awesome firmware update with some OSD screen updates, so you can see the settings. I think it's pretty cool, so maybe I'll do that after I've done the firmware update. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks.